We are shifting focus now to Karnataka, where the Congress won with a historic mandate. They did so on the back of 5 guarantees that they made before the elections. Many other things as well. But those 5 poll promises, those 5 guarantees that they came out with, that's something that managed to get them that state. But the party is yet to decide on how the implementation of those guarantees is going to happen. The decision is expected tomorrow, with Siddaramaiah chairing a cabinet meeting. But the war over these freebies and these promises is escalating, and unfortunately there are innocent people that have fallen prey to violence as well. Violent instances have come to the fore of non-implementation of these pre-poll violences in different parts. There are at least 3 instances that I'm going to enumerate in this show for you. Earlier today, an employee of the Gulbarga Electricity Supply Commission was allegedly assaulted in Kalburgi when he went to ask for pending electricity bills. Now, this has been linked with the guarantee of providing free electricity up to 200 units. Remember, the Congress said that up to 200 units electricity would be free. So when this staffer went on to ask for the pending bills, they said, but this is supposed to be free for us, so why are you here? Unfortunately, it did not stop at the verbal altercation. There was physical altercation as well. Meanwhile, Karnataka Congress's government is going to call a cabinet meeting tomorrow. We're hoping they will announce the implementation of these guarantees. But these freebie promises would put a lot of pressure on the coffers of the government, and that's the reason why perhaps the government is not able to decide on how to implement this, whether or not to implement all of those 5 together at all. Can they actually do it? Is it fiscally prudent? Perhaps they made the promises, but they are not going to be able to implement them just as quickly as they thought. Now, just to refresh your memory, here are the 5 big promises, or the guarantees as the Congress calls them. This was made before elections happened in Karnataka. Free electricity up to 200 units for every household. 10 kilograms of free rice per month for below poverty line families. 3,000 rupees per month for unemployed graduates. 1,500 rupees per month for unemployed diploma holders, and 2,000 rupees per month to the woman head of the family. But there are several issues that have come up with the implementation of all these promises. But unfortunately, it's been close to a fortnight now since the new government took oaths. Remember, Rahul Gandhi had promised that these promises, these guarantees would be implemented in the first cabinet meeting. The meetings have happened, but unfortunately no implementation. Meanwhile, here's a look at all the issues that the Congress has raised ever since it came to power. First, it was the Bajrang Dal ban. The Congress government has now reiterated its vow to ban organizations like the Bajrang Dal. Minister in the state, Priyank Kharge, said that the government will not tolerate any threat to law and order in the state. This is, of course, after the Congress made a pre-poll promise. They faced backlash, but it is something that they now have reiterated after coming back to power. The textbook revision issue, that's also something that came up. Academicians have now urged the Congress party to remove contentious revisions in school textbooks. These textbooks, remember, were revised under the previous governments, both by Basavaraj Bommai and by B.S. Yediyurappa. A revision panel was set up by the BJP, which revised the syllabus after a memorandum was submitted by the Brahmin Mahasabha in 2020. Now the state government, the Congress government, comes out and says that we will revise all of this. Perhaps the NEP will also be scrapped in Karnataka. Let's go now across to saffronization and the issue. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and his deputy met with senior police officials of the state and warned them. Police officers were directed to end what they called saffronization and moral policing in the state. The Chief Minister also went on to say that there is saffronization in certain units of the police in the state. Whether there was any evidence to back that claim, we're yet to hear from him. The Chief Minister then asked the courts to not differentiate between people based on religion. That is something he is well within his rights to do. That is also something under oath the police officers are supposed to do. Then again, we had the hijab ban issue. It was back in Karnataka. The government said that they will mull revoking the notification by the previous government. Remember, the previous notification was disallowing of hijab in classrooms. The notification was brought in 2022. That matter is still sub judice, because even after the Karnataka High Court decided and ruled in favor of the state government in the notification of not allowing hijab inside schools, the matter is still now pending in the Supreme Court. Then goes the anti-conversion law. The Congress says that they will soon repeal that as well. Remember, this law banned forced religious conversions across the state. The law was brought in by the Bommai government in 2022. Another contentious issue, seemed as a polarizing one, is that of cow slaughter. The Karnataka government is now mulling to revoke the cow slaughter protection law as well. The Congress claims that the cow slaughter protection law is communal in nature. It was passed, remember, in 2020 when B.S. Yediyurappa was the Chief Minister of the state. That is what the Congress government has been speaking of. Where are the freebies though? And there is confusion, and that is what is causing unfortunate instances like the one I pointed out right at the beginning. A free power promise has now ensured that a power board employee was assaulted in Kalaburgi. He went there to collect pending dues, and to which the people said, but this was supposed to be free. They didn't end at verbally assaulting him, they physically assaulted him as well, landing him in the hospital. There was a free travel promise that was also made to women especially. KSRTC, which is the state-run bus company, has now written a letter to the Chief Minister. They say that implementing this scheme soon is a requirement because several arguments have taken place on board these buses. One such instance came to the fore a couple of days ago where women passengers refused to buy tickets even though the bus conductor and the driver tried to explain to them that yes, the promises were made, but they were not implemented just yet. Another scheme, the Gruha Lakshmi scheme, where the domestic dispute has now erupted between two women heads of a certain family. Remember, they had promised 2,000 rupees to one woman head of the family. Reports are now saying that there is a dispute between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law as to who gets that amount. This is especially coming to the fore from rural areas. Activists say that the dole should be shared between the two, or perhaps you give both of them if it's a separate household. Would that then increase the burden on the state coffers? That is something that the Congress government will have to look at. That's the big debate tonight, which is why we're asking here on Plain Speak, is this a guarantee or was this in fact just a gimmick?
Given by the officers. Okay. So all these details will be placed in the cabinet meeting. On the basis of the information and also taking the opinion of the minister, we will take a decision in the cabinet which is going to be held on Friday.
And see that we implement in a proper to all those who are being eligible to it. So we are looking out all the possibility. Officers have given us 3-4 options. The cabinet will take a decision on Friday.
Mohan Vishwa, spokesperson of the BJP, Bhavya Narasimhamurthy, spokesperson of the Congress, join us on this broadcast. And I'd like to begin by asking Bhavya, big on promises, but is there shoddy implementation? That's what you're being accused of.
So it's only been 10 days since the Chief Minister took oath. And within 10 days, it's a record compared to the BJP government that we have already set up a whole government, starting from now cabinet ministries to the executive. And of course, any sensible person would understand that to bring in 5 guarantees to implement it to a state as large as Karnataka with 7 crore population, it takes a little bit of time to plan. And these kind of incidences that you see are all provoked by the opposition parties. And you will find here and there, I don't deny that, but people of Karnataka are smart enough to understand that, it will take time. And we have proved it to the people of Karnataka before, during our tenure for 5 years, success with a successful administration and by meeting up to 95% of our promises that we made before the poll of 2013. So people of Karnataka know that all the 5 guarantees will be implemented to the right beneficiaries without fail, and all that is going to happen retrospectively from June. As we already know, the previous government had brought in this budget, and which will be covered till July 1st, and only after that will the new budget will be applicable. Even then, we have told the people of Karnataka that the guarantees will be applied retrospectively. And tomorrow the cabinet is meeting, and we will make sure that all the guarantees are put into place and will be implemented.
The cabinet is meeting tomorrow, is what you've said. But I just want one clarification from you, Bhavya. Is this the first cabinet meeting that's going to take place tomorrow?
Official one, yes. Before this, the 8 people's cabinet meeting, the first group of 8 people who took oath with the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister. They met on the same day and they gave approval for all the 5 guarantees that day itself. Only the implementation part was left to the officers, to the IAS officers or the experts to draft, so that in tomorrow's cabinet meeting, now that the whole cabinet is full, they will be taking a proper decision to implement all the 5 guarantees.
Sure. So Mohan Vishwa, tomorrow is the first meeting of the full-fledged cabinet. The Congress pre-elections had said, in our first cabinet meeting, we will do the implementation. We're still 24 hours before that. So why not wait? Why the impatience?
Poonam, I heard my Congress friend saying that it's only been 10 days. I would like to remember her that it's not 10 days. It is 52 years since Indira Gandhi said Garibi Hatao from 1971. It's almost 52 years, they were not able to do anything. Even now also, they can't do anything. What did they say? The same Siddaramaiah or same DK Shukumar, if you have that video, you can put it over there. They said from 1st June onwards, that is from today onwards, nobody will pay electricity bill. And everybody will go in the BMTC, everybody will go in KSRTC. That's the statement they made. And they said within 24 hours of coming into power, they're going to implement all these things. Where are those? Now they're sitting and talking about conditions. And they speak about Siddaramaiah, who calls himself as a finance expert and who says that, has presented more than 13 budgets. The guy who has presented 13 budgets didn't had any of those statistics of how these funds will be utilized, from where he's going to get the money. Without making such statement, does he make that? And also I heard Congress person telling that, the people of Karnataka are sensible enough to understand this. Do you think the people who are fighting today are insensible? Who are coming on the street against Congress party are insensible? Who are fighting against Congress's fake promises are insensible? Is he making such kind of statement? Come on. This should never happen. DK, in the past also, and between 2013 to 2018, she said 95% of the promises are they fulfilled. I'm telling you, out of 165, they did hardly 37. They were able to fulfill only 20%. I can start the first sentence of their manifesto of 2013. They said they are going to give 24/7 power to two-phase power to farmers. Did they do it? No, they never did it. They said they're going to make permanent work for, the Paura Karmikas. Did they do it? They never did it. They said there will be a 8-lane highway between Bidar and Chamjarnagar. Did they do it? They never do it. I can go on talking on this, where they fulfilled hardly 20% of their promises. It's purely an utter lie she's making in the national channel. I'm telling you, like that, what they did in 2013, same thing happened. Now also, they're not going to fulfill any promises. But let me tell you one more thing. The innocent people of Karnataka, if the conditions are put and if they're not given these promises which they have made during, poll campaign, definitely it amounts to section 420, the 420 of IPC, it amounts to cheating of the people of Karnataka. They should understand, in the future, there might be a consequences, legal consequence also, which they may have to face. So what we request is, as promised by them, they have to implement without conditions.
And they will implement it tomorrow. Is what the Congress says, Mohan Vishwa, but yes.
About his hypocrisy. Can I please respond to his hypocrisy?
Yes, Bhavya, go ahead.
Yeah, he's talking about 52 years before. I wish he does his homework and reads some history and see what the standard of living of Indian people was 52 years ago. And more importantly, I would like to ask, where are the 2 crore jobs every year that Narendra Modi promised? Doesn't that come under section 420? Should the whole India...
Should I say now? Should I respond now only? Or you want me to respond post you?
So is it your failed promises versus my failed promises? Is that what's the debate? Is that what's the debate come down to?
See, Poonam, let me remind
saying that applies to Congress. Why not Mr. Narendra Modi? Because he promised 2 crore jobs every year, 9 years ago. But not...
Whereas Rajasthan has 24%, which is ruled by Congress.
Okay, if he doesn't...
It is ruled by Congress. It has 24% unemployment.
Sure.
Come on, what kind of nonsense is this?
Sure, let's maintain some decorum. Let's maintain some decorum and not try and speak over each other. I will give both of you ample amount of time. Let's maintain some decorum. Bhavya,
57 promises out of 168 promises that we did. Sorry, please do your homework before coming to the national channel.
But Bhavya, I just want to... Mohan Vishwa, I will come to you. Mohan Vishwa, I will come to you. But Bhavya Narasimhamurthy, I just want to ask you this one thing. Like I mentioned right at the start, there have been several instances today, unfortunately, where a staffer of the power board was beaten up. So there definitely is confusion. That cannot be denied. In that particular situation, shouldn't there at least have been a clarification or an explanation coming to the fore from the state government?
Understand that 10 days ago, the government postponed. We said after a government will be applicable. if someone is not paying the previous bill, no, if someone is not paying the bill for the previous month, that is not the problem of Congress. That is the provocation from these opposition parties. And I'm very sure most of them will be the party workers of opposition parties who are creating
So
such ruckus
are you
in the
saying
state
that there is
like
absolutely no
Karnataka,
confusion on
where
ground?
people are sensible and smart.
So, Bhavya Narasimha Murthy, are you saying there's absolutely no confusion on ground?
Their WhatsApp university.
Poonam,
Bhavya,
shall I respond?
Bhavya, have you heard me? Are you saying there's absolutely no confusion on ground? That the people of Karnataka know exactly what the Congress meant?
Let me just tell you this. We were very clear that when we come to government, when we form government, so if someone is not paying an electricity bill now, that electricity bill was of the previous month. And people of Karnataka understand this. Like, this is completely, organized by opposition party to create such disturbance in a state
So
like
this
Karnataka.
is not the last man on ground. This is not the voter on ground. Mohan Vishwa, this perhaps is just those who want to foment trouble.
See, Poonam, this is the double standard of Congress, what we can make out from here. When they made an allegation against us from past 1 year, they thought that, entire Karnataka people have made allegation. Did we say that, it was only their party or our party? So this is the double standard Congress follows. I asked her 3 questions, that's all. 2013 manifesto, she was not able to answer because they have not done it. They hardly implemented only 20% in their 2013 manifesto. Even now also they are going to do the same thing. What did they say? Now she's coming and she's telling here that, the officers she's working out all those stuff. Did Siddaramaiah and did DK Shivakumar, when they made these kind of promises, didn't they do their homework? What did they say? I still remember. If you recall those videos or if you play the videos which has millions of views, what DK Shivakumar says? Hey brother, for you also free. Hey sister, for you also free. If you're going to Mysore, it is free. If you're going to Chamarajanagar, it is free. If you're going to...
Sure, let's not talk about what happened. Let's not talk about what happened in 2013. I want to talk about what's happening now. I want to talk about what's happening now. Let's not digress, Mohan Vishwa and Bhavya Narasimha Murthy, into what's happened in the past. Let's not. Let's talk about what's happening now.
Can you play those 2 videos? One is of Siddaramaiah, one is of DK Shivakumar, where they have mentioned that conditions apply. I want that.
And I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that because we also spoke to Priyank Kharge, a cabinet minister now. And he too, Bhavya Narasimha Murthy, spoke to us about the fine print. He too went and said that the free travel for women in government buses is not for everyone. It's only in designated routes and designated buses. The 200 free units is only if it's below 200. Even if it's 201, then you have to pay for all 200, not just for one unit. That's the fine print. But the fine print wasn't given when the 5 promises were made.
Give out all the conditions which apply.
Sorry?
Because we can't assume what the conditions are unless they are on government papers. Then when we debate, we will tell you if we have put conditions, why they are.
Priyank Kharge told us this in an interview exclusively to my colleague Rohini Swami. Are you saying Priyank Kharge, when he spoke to us, was not telling us the truth?
I'm not saying he was not telling you the truth. But if we are taking up a debate, we will explain you why, the conditions were applied, because it will be very clear in the government orders.
Sure. But the fact that the conditions apply in the first place was not something that was mentioned. Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that where the confusion comes from?
The same political parties which were speaking against the guarantees, they were saying, the whole state will run out of laws and the economy will be down if we implement guarantees. Today, they are standing for the people of Karnataka and fighting for these guarantees. Isn't this hypocrisy of the opposition party?
Sure.
When we were speaking about our guarantees, they did everything to oppose this, and today they want all the guarantees to be implemented.
Is it about the guarantees being implemented, or is it about accountability? What is it, Mohan Vishwa? And why not wait? Like the Congress has been pointing out, it's just been 10 days. Rahul Gandhi also had said that the decision will be taken in the first cabinet meeting. The first cabinet meeting, the full-fledged cabinet meeting for the first time will happen tomorrow. If tomorrow the implementation doesn't happen or the government orders don't come out, then you are free to criticize. We live in a free country.
See, Poonam, the problem with Rahul Gandhi is in the past also you saw during Chhattisgarh election, what did he say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 दिन के अंदर हम लोग किसानों का पूरा लोन वेवर कर लेंगे, ऐसा ही बोला था। वो क्या किया? अभी तक हुआ ही नहीं। So this is the kind of statement he makes. Same thing here also. They just make statement for the for the sake of winning the election. That's all. Post that they never implement. Same thing with the story of Rajasthan also. The Rajasthan also, they said they are going to pay some amount to unemployed youths. They did not pay. Then they went to Himachal. Himachal also, what did they do? They increased the petrol price. That is what.
On national channel, we can bring up more productive discussion here instead of showing your impatience. Just wait for another 24 hours and see if we will implement it or not.
They are playing with the emotions of the people. Yes, even today, I do agree. Certain schemes we do oppose because it should not become a trend. Okay, that is what we oppose. But here in the state of Karnataka, Congress, what they did, that's now if they won't implement, it's like it's nothing but cheating the people. I'm telling you again, requesting you again.
But
you
that's the thing, right? If they don't implement it, but that's the thing, right, Mohan Vishwa? If they don't implement it, wait till tomorrow. That's all the Congress is saying. It's just 24 more hours.
Productive discussion.
And we really hope that clarity does come out for the sake of many of those staffers, many of those employees who are working with people on ground. We really do hope that clarity comes to the fore tomorrow. Another 24 hours to go. We are hoping that after the cabinet meeting, some instructions do come out, the implementation happens. Is there fine print? Are there conditions apply? We'll find out tomorrow. I have to leave it at that. I thank you both for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective. With that, it's time for a quick break here on this edition of Plain Speak. Back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.